What's up, good people? How lucky am I? How lucky am I to have the honor, the presence of Dr. Leah Ayana Johnson, PhD, from New York.
Oh my gosh. Live in Nashville.
Live in Nashville. How long has it been?
Oh my gosh, since the last time, it was 5 years for you.
5 years.
For True Vine Publishing.
That's how long it's been?
So to anyone, this is Meet Me at the Table with Ayana from Ayana Speaks, right? And so we are both going live.
And this is Tim Bond from True Vine Publishing. The right change.
We're doing the right change. We're doing Meet Me at the Table. And so I have the pleasure of being here live in Nashville, Tennessee. You all know I'm from the New York area. And with my publisher, Timothy Bond from True Vine Publishing. And we were just saying, when was the last time I was here? And the last time I was here, it was the 5-year anniversary of True Vine Publishing.
2009.
16 years ago.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. So this moment is becoming even more monumental.
This is how you know you have a brotherhood and sisterhood, though. Because
Yes.
we get together and it's like no time has passed.
Yes. I love it. So, I mean, this is totally impromptu, folks. The reason why we're doing this book, a couple of reasons. One, I just happened to be in Nashville for some other reasons. Two, I was like, I can't go to Nashville and not hit up my publisher.
Right.
And three, I'm about to release my fourth
number 4.
Faith and Transformation Fridays, which has been published by True Vine Publishing, my trusted publisher.
Yes, for 20 years now. We started to reproduce the books, and I'm thinking, wow, when did we publish this book? And I pull up the files, I look at the copyright date, and it says 2005, which means also you were like one of my first clients.
Yes.
You know, like probably number 3.
Yeah.
And I attribute a lot of growth of True Vine to this young lady right here. She really represented and showed the company love and referred a lot of business. And y'all know how New York is. New York, they about business. So
That's right. Make it happen.
Yeah. So 20 years, this young lady has been putting out not just books, but she's a poet, she's an entrepreneur, she's a CEO, she's a philanthropist. I mean, that's why I said, like, how honored am I to be in her presence right now? I'm just honored.
Oh my gosh.
That's all about that. No, I'm just joking.
No, but he talked about the consistency, and it's so funny because time goes by so fast, right? And then you blink. Literally, it's about maximizing a moment, right? And you blink, and then 16 years has passed, and or however many years, and like we connected probably within your first year of your company or whatever. And the reason why it was so easy was because of how personable, how skilled, and how knowledgeable he was as a publisher. And I had looked at a lot of publishers, and he was just informative, and he kind of mapped everything out, so it made the process less threatening. And it's like, I can conceive this, I can do this. So that's what was exciting. And then the first book came out. So now it was time for the 4th book. And you all will find out about it at the book signing. But it was a long time coming. Like, he was like, okay, you ready? You're ready? And I'm like, yeah. And I was dragging for a couple of reasons. But
so get this, y'all. I went to somebody else's book signing in New York, and I never heard the end of it. So whenever she has a book signing, I'm there now.
No. We gotta get the backstory. So we had done so much work virtually, right? I had done this, and it was like so personable, right? And so there was another author that I referred to him, right? And so as it was just time and opportunity that he was able to pop up at that book signing. And it's so funny, I had not seen him in person. So he was standing there, I was like, oh, that guy looked kind of familiar. But I just kind of walked into the book signing, and then he was, at that time, my maiden name was Brown, and he was like, Miss Brown, I see you. And I'm like, Tim? Hi! And then I was like, what are you doing here?
Why did you come to mind? I was like, I have an opportunity.
He definitely
in fact, that was when I had, first time I had lost my job. and started doing True Vine full time.
Yes.
So that's what it was.
Yes. And that's just real talk, talking about, working and being an entrepreneur. And he was establishing his publishing company and still being all in the trenches. It was time and opportunity, right? So I was like, oh my gosh. So then when I turned my second book into a play, he definitely, no, was it from my second one? He showed up, he was there, him and his wife, they came as a team. And so there was a lot of good stuff happening. So we're excited about some other stuff happening. So time has come around, and it was time to release this next book, my fourth book. Hey, to those that are in the house, I see you. So it was time to release my fourth book, and it's going to be released on Saturday, April 26th. So we're less than 2 weeks away. So here's a plug: if you have not gotten your ticket yet, you can go on Eventbrite. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Fanbase, Blue Sky, wherever you need to, to get the.
You gotta give them the name, though.
It's Faith and Transformation Fridays. Go to Eventbrite and look up Faith and Transformation Fridays. See, that's why I got a publisher, right? And you'll find it
everywhere. Just go. Just look.
Faith and Transformation Fridays. Okay, so and it'll be there. It's going to be great. And I got a special surprise for April 26th that we are not going to tell you today, but I'm telling you, come out, because this is really going to not just bless me because it's releasing a book, and it's been a process with this book, even with it being completed, but actually bringing it to fruition, it's been a process. And we'll talk about that at the book signing. It's a light cocktail reception, book signing, live jazz music. It's going to just be an awesome time. Meet the author. We're going to talk, and we got some other great surprises there. So come out. I'm telling you, if you have ever written a book, want to just have a story, just have some, whatever, come out, because I'm telling you, there's going to be things there, individuals there, situations there that's going to open up doors of opportunity for you. So we're going to chat a little bit.
Let's chat.
Oh my gosh.
Let's talk. So first, let me say this. What I love about your art and your writing is it's so personal. You're so transparent. You share from your experiences. You're not just talking from what you've heard. You use this platform of book writing to really help bring deliverance to other people through your own pain, through your own lessons, through your own mistakes.
Yes.
And so I think that's why this book in particular, Faith and Transformation Fridays, is so profound, is because it is coming from personal growth, Yes. And I just wanted, I know I've been on Write Change before, and there's always a lot of great authors on Write Change and people who watch Write Change. There's nothing to stop you from releasing your story, your message, and he's always promoting it through True Vine University, so teaching you, and then promoting it through Write Change, and then Meet Me at the Table is all about us sitting down at the table and talking real talk. And to some of the people that's watching live, DOYH Marketing, great story, great talent. You got a story, you got a book in you. I'm telling you, this is the man that you really need to connect with as well. There's so much great stuff, but one of the things that we talked about, and I think it's wrapped up in your experiences as well, is bringing the whole self to the table. So if anybody has been following me on my Meet Me at the Table on YouTube, part of it has been the fact that not splitting my identities, right? So I talk a little bit about intersectionality, specifically in this day and time, but not leaving out my identity as a child of God, a woman of God, and how that was my foundation. I'm not talking about conversions and stuff like that. I'm talking about knowing who you are as a child of God, so that can sustain you as you navigate these different worlds. And so I'm going to ask you, kind of like navigating as this entrepreneur who has founded a publishing company that has released and helped so many people release their books, and yet being in the corporate world as well, managing those two, how, using your identities has really helped you to do that. Because I know for me, it was like, you need this to be able to make it through. You need this to help you with the work-life balance. You need your identity to tell you, keep going.
This is my purpose. No, you don't have to deal with imposter syndrome. This is who I called you to be. This is your time and season. And regardless of people question it, doubt it, want to erase you, think you don't need to be there, it was my identity, one of my identities. But as a Christian woman, that was the foundation of getting me through my entrepreneurial endeavors, my leadership endeavors, being a wife, a mother, all these sort of things and all these experiences. So we talk a lot about that. That's in the book and so much more. But I think it's great if they hear from you as a publisher too, being in the corporate world, being a publisher, helping people birth their dreams, the idea of really managing all of your identities in this terrain.
Yeah. I would say, I don't know if I've had a challenge managing my identity. Not trying to seem deep. I just don't know any other way to be. Like, I'm not a corporate guy. I don't know the corporate lingo. I don't know you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to go in and out of these sectors and shift, right?
Right.
So I've always been who I am. I don't know anyone else to be. But I will say, some of the challenges of maintaining your character, there are challenges too, right? There are some standards that you set that sometimes you have to sacrifice your benefit because you want to maintain your standard of integrity, or you know what I mean? So I have situations where it costs me money, right, to maintain my integrity, because if there's a mistake or something, and then it's really not my mistake, but I want to make sure that my clients have a certain level of, of a certain experience, a certain level of quality. I have to take that to the chin, or I have to fall on my sword. So, maintaining my character, it's easy, but then it's also hard when you really have to choose character over profit. Right? Choosing character over profit.
And that's not easy. A lot of people don't do that.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, because I could easily, like, for example, if I sent you those books and there was a little mistake in there, I was like, maybe she won't notice it, right? Or I stop the presses and say, I got to take the hit, but this is wrong. I know it's wrong. I need to send the printer a totally new file, and they're going to hit me with fees, right? Those are the things where it's like, that's your character.
Yes.
And those are the things that God will bless.
Yes.
Out in the open, what you do in the dark.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And that right there, I think, is even more so the important part of keeping your godly and Christian character. Because it really is about what God sees. Yes. More so than what people see.
Agreed. You talking about keeping your character, and that's so key. And I think you talked about transparency. One of the things that just seems to be sort of the thread throughout the books that God has given me is about addressing character or experiences that developed and built character, and how that impacted other experiences and life decisions and things of that sort, and what you would say no to and what you would say yes to. And I think that's a huge thing, because I think sometimes right now we are asked to kind of sacrifice character for a lot. And depends on what industry you're in, depends on what kind of work you're doing. There's a lot of character being sacrificed because you don't want the threat of money. You don't want the threat of losing money. You don't want the threat of losing stature and all of that. That's all part of what's going on. So,
and I think it comes down to, who do you really trust?
Right.
Like, I learned, even though it took me till 2020 to like really focus everything on TrueVine, right? I never feared losing a job, because I learned whenever I would lose a job or things would get tight, God would send a new contract, just boom, out the blue, right?
Yes.
And so when it comes to character, like, who do you trust, right? When we change our character for money or change our character to fit in, we're showing God, I don't trust who you made me. Right? I don't trust what you put in me to help me survive or to help me move forward. And so you got to trust who God is in your life. You got to trust the character that He has put in you. And maybe a lot of people don't know that character.
Right.
That takes some development as well.
Yes. If anybody, hey, see other people joining in. Hey, Ebony. You talked about trust, and one of the things that God spoke to me about at the end of 2023, going into 2024, is about trust. Like really in depth, and really digging deep into it, and getting to it, and needing that. And trust in God is a necessity, whether or not you are pursuing a career, whether or not you're pursuing a new venture, whether or not you trust, is this the time and season, whether or not you trust God's promises in spite of everything around you. That idea of trust. If anyone's just joining in, this is my publisher, Timothy Bond from True Vine Publishing. And
this is my client. We got two lives going on.
That's right.
This is our client. You all have seen her before, Dr. Leah Anna Johnson. So yes.
So we just had to keep kind of throwing that out there so you know who's who. But trust has been the key. Trusting. Like, for example, do I trust them with my process, with my book? Yes. Because they're like, you sure you want this? Now, what's this? Do I trust them that I can say, okay, let me pay for this, and then he doesn't hear from me, and he's like, okay, knock, knock, when you gonna come?
Right.
And recognize, okay, you know what, she might be in a process. Let's talk this through. And you need someone of integrity. You need someone that you can trust. But God will lead you to the individual you can trust. God will make you a trustworthy individual that will be an asset wherever you are, in whatever you do, and in whatever relationship. And that's just so key, and God has really been ministering that to me, and I find myself going back to that more and more, the idea of trust.
Here's where I am in my journey. I don't want to get too deep, but let's get deep. The Bible says, know ye not that ye are the temples of the Holy Ghost.
Yes.
So that means God dwells in us. Right. When we don't trust God, right, we're not trusting the God that's within us.
Right.
So when we make a decision, or we're moving on our intuition, and we're like, I don't know, you're not trusting the God within you. And I think that we have put a separation between the divinity within us, right?
Yes.
The God within us.
Yes.
To trust that I'm not going to even think about making this decision if it wasn't for me to make this decision. The Bible says it's God who works in you to will and to do.
Yes.
So if it's your ambition, hear what I'm saying. If it's your ambition to do this, that's God working within you to even want to do it. Right? I don't want to get up here and clean windows. Right?
Right.
That's not in me.
Right.
So, of course, if that came to me, it'd be like, that's not you. But when you have an unction, a pulling, a calling, those books, it takes time and effort and energy and focus to write a book. That's something that's pulled. You're being pulled to that destiny, and you have to trust. If it came to you, it's God in you to do it, and it's also God in you to do to complete it. Right?
Yes.
You have to have that trust.
Yes.
And that's what God wants. He just wants us to step out. There's so many opportunities that are being missed.
Right.
2005, you wrote that book.
Yes. First one.
First book. She could have chosen anybody. She could have decided, I'm going to wait on it. But there are so many opportunities, so many speaking engagements, so many people you've reached because you took that opportunity when you took that opportunity. Right. And I can't speak to the different opportunities that you've had because of your books. You can.
Right.
But talk to the people about, how taking a step of action can open up more doors that you don't see.
Definitely. And I want to say, Tim was just talking about how God will bring it to you, but it doesn't end there because he's also called to bring it through you, right? And sometimes we leave it at, he brought it to me, but that's not where the process is supposed to end. Right. You are supposed to give birth to that thing. It's supposed to come through you to reach many, many more. And I think, once I had accepted the point, like in early 2000, like I was traveling and I had really come into the fullness of the expression of the spoken word he gave me. Like I began ministering it the way I was hearing it, and I was flowing freely in that. And it was like, okay, now is the time that what you always dreamt about to come to fruition. Bring that first book and all the challenges and all the fear and whatever. So now you release it, It's worth it? Do people like it? But the more you are, remember, I had already built up a platform doing spoken words, so I was bringing my books and I was promoting it. Everyone knew every time I went somewhere, I was bringing a book and I was promoting it and everything like that. And funny enough, and everywhere I went, whether or not I was doing an event on someone else's platform, doing an event, networking, whatever, I was always promoting my books. One of my first interactions with my husband, way before we even became husband and wife or even friends, I sold him a book.
Oh, really?
Sold him a book. Sold him a seed. It was like, oh, you're a musician? Great. I might need you for something else, but you want to buy a book? Like, everybody knew I was going to promote the books, right? And so God will give you these platforms, right? And whether or not your platform is you're cooking and you're doing something in a small setting and you have small groups coming together, and then you begin to sell that, and then you begin to write together your recipe book, which you can do through the publishing company as well, right? And so start doing it. And you already have these women groups that are coming together. Like, one platform is going to build on the next, and you got to trust that it all comes together some way, somehow. And sometimes I used to see things in a very disjointed, compartmentalized way. I'm like, no, I'm just going to do this here, I'm going to do this here. But then God began to show me, like, no, all this is weaving. The experiences that you're putting in the book, how you can promote things, come together, who you meet here is going to open up an opportunity there. Like, I found those crossovers without even really seeking those crossovers out. So I can think about one example where I had networked with a woman of God and, spoken word and ministering and all this stuff like that. And then we met in a whole other setting, in a professional setting, in our professional world, and that wasn't even a planned interaction. And we see each other, we're like, this world too. And so God made that connection there too. And so you'll see how you have to trust God that these connections are all woven together. And not just that God will bring it to you, but He's meant to bring it through you. And you have a message, you have something that you are to give that's going to touch and minister to somebody else.
There is no waste in God.
Right.
There is no waste in God. I met a lady on a cruise boat. She asked me what I did. I told her about my company. I gave her my company name. It was a basic passing, hey, how you doing, blah, 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 move on. Probably 6 months later, I get a call. My boss wants to publish a book, and your name is the only name I know.
See?
I met a lady here at an event here, literary luncheon. She came by my booth literally a year later. She's like, I'm ready. There is no waste in God, right? There's actually a name for that, what you're talking about, how you meet. It's called the Bridge of Incidents. The Bridge of Incidents is when you set your goals on something,
like
a bunch of random incidents happen. You think they're random, but they're connected, and they are bridging you to where you want to be, right? So many of us cannot take that first step because we can't see, how am I going to get over this gulf between where I am and where I want to be, right? And then we don't realize, like, oh, I just met this person. He said he wanted to write a book too. Oh, that was a random conversation. No, God is bringing the people, the resources, the situations, the events to you so that you can take advantage of that opportunity. Like this right here is an opportunity. We don't know what'll come out of it.
Exactly.
But we took the time and said, let's do it.
Yes.
And look like crazy people out here in Nashville talking to phones, right? But yeah, we don't know what'll come of it, but it's purpose. There's purpose in it.
I love that. I'm going to take that with me, Bridge of Incidences. Because we know there's no coincidence in God. God divinely orchestrates everything to us. To us, it seems like all these incidences. But I remember, and just recently, God put in my spirit, Lord, take my name before great people. And great people is so subjective, however God defines great people. But where they will bring up my name in areas where I am not, to be that connector in places where I am not. And that example was just that. You met someone on a cruise, you say, this is who I am, this is what I do. And it's not even their book, but they say, look, I know somebody else.
Right.
And that's what this is about. Like, I'm live in Nashville, Tennessee. I wasn't going to come here without reaching out to my publisher, and just all the right timing, to the right change folks, to the meet me at the table folks. But the idea of just coming together, I just really feel and I know that everything is for something greater, for someone else who's watching, who will watch this video, like, subscribe, share, follow, share this with whomever else, individuals that need to know you have a story, and yes, it can get out, and it's easier to get out with excellence than you think. And so, I mean, I don't even know what else to say. That this is, I'm gonna take that with the bridge of incidences. God, bridge my incidences and give me the eyes to see what it is that you are doing and how you seek to do it for me. In this season.
That's where God says, when you talk about faith, right?
Yes.
Notice in the Bible, the only thing that shocked Jesus was somebody's faith.
Yes.
That's the only time he was like,
yes.
Okay then.
Yes.
Right?
Boom, let me do it for you.
What? Who touched me? Somebody touched me, right? And then the guy was like, you don't have to come heal my daughter, just speak it. He's like, well, okay, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when you understand faith, you like, think about the farmer. When he plants a seed, he doesn't see a seed.
Right.
He sees the tree. He put the seed in the ground, but he sees the tree. When you say, this is what I want, when you speak that into reality, you don't look at it as the seed. See the full tree, right? See what the seed is. So when I say I want to have a book that reaches the world, right? See the book. See yourself speaking. See yourself hosting events and talking to people about your book and about how you want it to reach people. See it as it's already completed. That's faith. That's strength.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. Listen, if to those for Meet Me at the Table, usually we're on YouTube Live. We probably still will be, but we had to come on Instagram right now just to get this, what was burning in our bellies out. April 26th, 2 to 5 p.m. in New Rochelle, New York, I will be releasing my 4th book through True Vine Publishing, Faith and Transformation Fridays. And it's meant to be a faith workbook, a faith journal, where you can take the Friday to kick back after you've been through a whole week and begin to process and say, God, what are you saying to me this week, and what do I need to take further? And let it be the thing that builds your faith, increases your faith, and then brings a transformation in you and in your life as well. Again, this is Timothy Bond from True Vine Publishing. To those that are watching on Meet Me at the Table, definitely find him, reach out to him if you want to entrust your gift in the hands of someone who will handle it as if it was their own, and really handle it with excellence and spiritual excellence. Trust and believe this is the individual to do it. I'm live in Nashville, Tennessee. We got a surprise coming on April 26th. Go to Eventbrite. Look up Faith and Transformation Fridays, okay? You'll find it under Ayana Speaks, okay? Faith and Transformation Fridays. Get your ticket. If you're not going to be in town, buy it for a friend who's going to be in town and tell them you better go, because I know this is going to be life-changing for people on so many levels.
And for those of you on the right change and
Meet Me at the Table.
Meet Me at the Table. It's the right change, WRITE change.com. Let's go and support Ayana. On Facebook, it's Ayana Speaks.
Yes. I'm everywhere at Ayana Speaks.
Ayana Speaks. Okay.
You know, I'm going to try to get back on Facebook with you now.
Oh, you're not on Facebook?
No,
okay. She's too young and hip for Facebook. I'm still on Facebook.
I'm not even that young.
All right? So, you're not on TikTok?
No. See, that's how you know I'm old, right? Because I'm not on TikTok. See, I'm telling myself.
But go and support
Blue Sky,
her.
fan base, Instagram, I opened it back up.
Okay.
Where else am I? YouTube, definitely go to YouTube, my channel, Ayana Speaks, YouTube. Yes. You'll find the Meet Me at the Tables and a lot more.
All right. Join her at Meet Me at the Table as well. If you're in New York, try to go. Try to go. All right. She's got room at the table for you. So try to go. And that's going to be on Eventbrite. Faith and Transformation Fridays. Go to Eventbrite, get your ticket. I'm sure she's not charging the arm and the leg. It'll be a great night for you in New Rochelle. I've been there. Really nice town. I enjoyed it when I went to the last one.
Yes.
So, yeah, get out there. Let's spread the word. And you all have a great day.
We got some surprises on that day, so come on out, coming out. Thank you so much for joining.